You are falling toward the largest planet in the solar system, and you are searching for the ground. You are not going to find it. Jupiter has no surface, no beach, no bedrock, no ledge, no place to plant your feet. Nothing solid anywhere in a world 11 times wider than Earth. So if you leapt in and let it pull you down, where exactly would you come to rest? The answer is stranger than any crash. In every way that matters, you would never stop. This is what the fall would actually do to you, layer by punishing layer, all the way down. We grow up picturing planets as balls of rock with a hard shell you could stand on. Jupiter erases that picture completely. It is a gas giant, built almost entirely from hydrogen and helium, the same two elements that fuel the stars, gathered into a colossal sphere by the crush of its own gravity. To grasp the thing you are falling into, Jupiter outweighs every other planet in the solar system combined, more than twice over. You could pour 1,300 Earths inside it and still have room to spare. And nowhere in all that volume is there anything to stand on. There is no clean boundary where the sky ends and the planet begins. The atmosphere simply grows thicker and hotter and heavier until it stops being anything you could call air. That is the trap of Jupiter. It offers you a beginning to fall through, but never an end to land on. And this is not only a thought experiment. In December of 1995, NASA did it for real. The Galileo mission fired a probe straight down into Jupiter's clouds to measure the descent from the inside. It survived just under an hour. To understand why and what would happen to you, you have to follow it down, one layer at a time. Long before you reach the clouds, you fall through Jupiter's radiation belts. Invisible zones of charged particles whipped up by the planet's ferocious magnetic field, so intense they could deliver a lethal dose in a matter of hours. And that is the gentlest thing Jupiter has waiting for you. Your fall proper begins at the cloud tops, and the first thing that greets you is the cold. Around minus 145 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze the breath in an instant. These are not clouds of water like the ones over Earth. They are crystals of frozen ammonia, stained into the cream, ochre, and rust-red bands that give Jupiter its unmistakable striped face. From a distance, those bands look painted on, calm and permanent. Fall into them, and the calm vanishes. Each stripe is a river of wind moving in a different direction, tearing past its neighbor, and you are dropping straight through the sheer between them. There is no horizon to fix your eyes on. No up, no down. Only a bottomless, golden haze stretching out in every direction, and with it comes a quiet, creeping dread. The floor you keep bracing for, the solid thing your body is instinctively waiting for, is simply never going to come. Then the weather takes hold of you. Jupiter's jet streams blow at more than 600 kilometers an hour, faster than any tornado ever recorded on Earth. And unlike a storm back home, they never blow themselves out. There is no land to drag on them, no cool ocean to starve them, nothing to make them stop. If your path carried you into the Great Red Spot, you would fall into a single storm wider than the entire Earth, a hurricane that has been raging for at least 190 years, and quite possibly for centuries, far longer than any storm our own planet has ever produced. Its winds would shred anything human in seconds, and yet to the storm, you would be invisible. This is the first real lesson of Jupiter. It is not cruel. It is simply so vast that cruelty does not apply. A person falling through it matters about as much as a single molecule matters to a thundercloud. And still you keep falling. As you sink below the clouds, the atmosphere begins to close its fist. There is no sunlight this deep, only a darkening, reddening gloom. With every kilometer, the weight of all the gas stacked above you presses down harder, and the temperature climbs. This is exactly where Galileo's probe reached its limit. Around 150 kilometers beneath the cloud tops, at a pressure more than 20 times what you feel at sea level, in heat already past 150 degrees Celsius, the probe fell silent. In under an hour it had been baked and crushed, its signal swallowed by the deepening dark. A human body would have lasted far less. Long before the heat, The rising pressure alone would collapse your lungs and crush you smaller than the sinking cabin around you. And here is the part that unsettles even scientists. That was barely a scratch. The probe died in the outermost skin of the planet. Below it, the pressure does not ease. It accelerates, doubling and doubling again, driving toward numbers so large that nothing on the surface of Earth gives you any way to picture them. You have not reached the deep of Jupiter. You have only knocked on its door. Keep falling, and something genuinely impossible happens to the world around you. And deeper still, it is about to happen again, when this hydrogen does what no ocean on Earth can, and turns into metal. But that comes later. First, the hydrogen grows so compressed that it stops behaving like a gas. But it never becomes a liquid in any way you would recognize. There is no splash, no shoreline, no surface to break through. The sky just thickens seamlessly until you are moving through a hot, crushing ocean of hydrogen with no top and no bottom and no shore in any direction. You are thousands of kilometers deep now, inside a layer larger than any sea on any planet in the solar system. A single body of fluid that could swallow hundreds of Earths whole. The very word falling begins to fail here. There is nothing above you to fall from and nothing beneath you to fall toward. Only more hydrogen, packed tighter with every kilometer, glowing faintly with its own trapped heat. The planet has quietly stopped letting you leave. Deeper still, the pressure crosses a threshold that changes what matter is allowed to be. Squeezed by more than 1,000,000 times Earth's atmosphere, hydrogen is forced into a state it can never reach anywhere on our world. It becomes a metal. Its electrons tear loose from their atoms and begin to flow freely, and this enormous ocean of liquid metal starts to conduct electricity like the inside of a live wire. Physicists first predicted this metallic hydrogen back in 1935, decades before we had any way to see it, and we no longer have to guess it is there. NASA's Juno spacecraft orbiting Jupiter since 2016 has traced its unmistakable signature. Because it is here, in this churning, electrified metal sea, that Jupiter builds the most powerful magnetic field of any planet in the solar system. A field so enormous it would stretch across our sky. If you have fallen this far, you are no longer falling through weather or even through an ocean. You are falling through the engine of an entire world. And the core, the very center you have been falling toward this whole time. For decades, we pictured a tidy ball of rock and ice, buried at the heart of the giant. Then Juno looked closer and found something far stranger. Jupiter's core appears to be diluted, partly dissolved, smeared and blurred into the metallic hydrogen around it, as though the planet's heart had been stirred halfway across its own interior. Down here, the temperature may reach around 20,000 degrees Celsius, hotter than the glowing surface of the sun, under pressures of tens of millions of atmospheres. You would have been destroyed unimaginably far above this point. But even if you could somehow arrive, there would be nothing to arrive at. No hard floor, no solid heart, just matter crushed past the limits of anything that word was built to describe. This is the truth Jupiter has kept behind its beautiful clouds the whole way down. There is no bottom. There never was. Jupiter is not a place you could ever land. It is a question with no ground beneath it. A world that takes the simplest act imaginable, falling, and stretches it into something that never finishes. The Galileo probe fell for 58 minutes and then became part of the planet forever, its atoms scattered into a storm that will still be turning long after everyone who built it is gone. Somewhere down in that endless weather, in the dark beneath the clouds, Jupiter is quietly falling into itself. It has been doing so for 4.5 billion years, pulling everything that comes near it into a fall with no end, and it always will be.